Greetings YouTube, this is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001, bringing you part 2 of Speed the Hedgehog 42's commission, his fan character, Drix the Raccoon. Now Drix is the happy little fellow on the right, but I was quickly alerted to a few flaws in the character design based on the fact that the original picture he gave me as reference was pretty low res, namely the fact that Drix isn't supposed to have bangs, and I got the stripes on his shoes wrong. But you'll see that when I start to construct the figure. So the parts that I would use to make this particular custom was basically the Tails figure and Sonic shoes. Now seeing as how I used a Sonic figure with Tails shoes to make Speed, basically I could be saying that I just kind of swapped their feet out. Except it's more complicated than that because I use a shadow body and I actually have boxes and boxes of figure parts here, which I swap around all the time. Basically, I used a Tails figure with Sonic's feet. I have got to learn to be a little bit more concise with the things that I say. Alright, working on conciseness here. The body didn't require much work. It's mostly repaint, and so is the head. Except that I removed the bangs and filled in the little hole in the forehead with some more clay. And then I moved on to the tail, which is where a bit more work went in. Aside from the fact that I cut the other one off, I also had to sand it down to a single point. Here's a side-by-side comparison with the other tail to show the modification, and then it was free for painting. From what I can tell, Drix was supposed to have 4 stripes, and it would be a gray tip and a gray base. So, yes, that is a bona fide raccoon tail. So the shoes were a relatively simple affair. I just had to cut the buckle off, and I gave it a little circle thing on the side, like a Converse All-Star, except it's only on one ankle, not both. Now this is kind of where it gets a little bit weird. Aside from those 2 stripes on either side of the white border, he said that Drix had these little rocket booster-like things arranged in a zigzag on the base of the shoe, and I really wasn't sure how to do that without really compromising the design. So I decided to paint the sole a nice metallic silver to give it a bit of a techie appearance, and then I cut these tiny circles out of paper and stuck them on, and then painted over it with the acrylic, the Testor's acrylic, so that they look like little pits in the sole. Not quite Shadow's hover shoes, but I think the effect comes along pretty nicely. And that is the story of Drix the Raccoon. This guy was a little tricky to photograph because he's gray, light gray, which is kind of hard to photograph against a white background because it doesn't really stand out. But you know what? That's fitting because he's a raccoon. Raccoons are supposed to be able to blend and hide. So yeah, he is the stealth figure. Well, not really stealth. He's hard to pick up on camera. That's something. So yes, that's Drix the Raccoon. This is Toy Customizer Wake Angel 2001 signing off.